Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man. It's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales. Dirty discussions with Kiki and Medinah Monroe. Yeah.
Today's cocktail is called Blue Yak. Ooh, this sound hood. And you need 1.5 ounces of cognac, 1.5 ounces of blueberry Stella Rose, 2 ounces of blueberry lemonade. And to make a Blue Yak, you're going to add the cognac, the Stella Rose, Stella Rose or Rosa?
Stella Rosa.
Okay, Stella Rosa. And blueberry lemonade into a cocktail shaker filled with ice. Shake for about 5 to 10 seconds. Pour from the shaker into the glass filled with ice and garnish with blueberries. I love blueberries. And enjoy. Cheers. Your nails are cute.
Thank you. Let's hope they don't pop off.
You know, a Hennessy.
This tastes like you know when you get the, what is it called? Like the firecracker popsicle, the red, white, and blue one. That's what it tastes like to me.
Hennessy's always been tricky for me because
I like a little Henny.
I don't, but I can't taste it in here, so that's why tricky. That's why Hennessy is tricky for me because it's like
if it's mixed in a mixed drink
and you just throwing it back, and now you're waking up with texts and wondering who's all mad at you. Shout out to Your Tipsy Homegirl. If you guys are interested in having some crafted cocktails, you need someone to make drinks for your baby shower or a birthday party or a friend's appreciation event, you know, anything, award ceremony. You guys follow her on TikTok, Instagram, at Your Tipsy Homegirl because she keeps us right and the drinks be good.
Welcome back to Cocktails Dirty Discussions, you guys.
Hey, y'all.
A few quick announcements before we get the show started. I want to remind everybody to sign up for our Patreon. It's patreon.com/cocktails. We have several different tiers, but you should just sign up for one of the top 2 so you can make sure that you get all of the content. We release videos. We do early releases if we decide. The tour is winding down. We've got 2 stops left now.
It's almost over. That's crazy how the time flies.
Yes, because we were always flying.
Literally.
We were gone a lot. But if we ever do more live shows or have any special events, anything like that, Patreon is always going to find out about it first. And as long as we can do it with the venue, we will do early release tickets for you guys so that you have Prime premium access. And then also it's just a nice community to join other like-minded people. You might make some friends. It's just a great place to be. Join our Patreon.
Yeah, make sure you join. And it's also a way to support us.
Yeah, because even if you don't really care about bonus content or anything like that, we're not on, other than Patreon, the show itself is not on a subscription platform, even though that's what many people are moving to, and I get it. So it's nice to just throw us a couple bucks every month if you appreciate the content and you find it in your budget. We would greatly appreciate it because it helps us keep everything going and continuing to elevate the show because this shit costs money. Also, if you guys go to I'mCuriousToKnow.com, our merch is available. We do have 2 different t-shirt designs right now, and you can pre-order the I'm Curious to Know game. We're restocking it right now, so it's just a matter of time before we get it and we start shipping those out. We have placed an order, so it's a specific number, so you definitely want to make sure that you're in that bundle, because if you're not, who knows if there will be enough, and you might be waiting. Don't wait, because you're going to be mad if you think you can just pop up at the live show and buy it because they might be gone.
Yeah, and you're going to be mad when you're sitting on your boring dates with nothing to talk about.
Or you might sit next to a cutie on a plane and you could whip out the game and just talk the whole plane
That's
ride.
a really cute, if we ever did another commercial, for if we ever did a new deck, that would be really cute. You actually are sitting next to a stranger and you're just like,
well, I'm curious now. Like, he kind of fine. What am I going to say?
Imagine if you pick the card up and you don't look and you put it up and it's the one that's like, have you ever had an STD?
Well, I always hold mine close and read them first and be like, oh, that one doesn't really apply. It's too intrusive. But then you would know right off the bat. And then also live shows. So we have Birmingham, Alabama next. Make sure you check the description box. And then we have Dallas, Texas last, May 20th at the Studio at the Factory in Deep Ellum. We hope to see you guys there.
Can't wait. Ending it in our hometown.
Yeah, it's going to be so hot.
Hot, and some old high school teachers might come. Girl, I don't know what I'm wearing to Seattle.
Well, Okay. If you're interested in sponsoring our shows or just being a sponsor of the show, or you want to find out if we might be doing some more events later on in the year and you want to get in to maximize your sponsorship time, you can email us sales@cocktailspod.com. Okay. What's been going on with you? A little catch up? Anything happen? What happened last night? I know you were being a mother.
I was being a whole mother. And I feel like I've been being a mom for like weeks now. And I'm just like, oh, is it Mother's Day? I need some appreciation.
Okay, when is Aunt's Appreciation Day? There is one.
When is it? What month?
I don't know, but it's like Father's Day. Don't
Nobody
nobody care.
ever celebrates it. And it's like, whoa, who y'all all hitting up when you need somebody to watch them babies because you double booked yourself, or you want to go on a date, or you need date
July
night.
26th is Aunt and Uncle Day. Let's find about cousins. What day is Cousin Day?
Do we need a cousin day?
Walker is my cousin. Hell yeah, we need a cousin day. It's July 24th. Well, didn't I just say the other one was July 26th? Maybe I can get double gifts.
I'm going to remind people of that. July 26th is Auntie and Uncle Day.
Google invite.
We should. Y'all need to remember this. But
we're about to push this.
Last night it was so funny because Zane wanted chicken wings, and his dad, my brother, wasn't done with acting class until like 10:30, but he ended up not being done till like 11 p.m. Woo. I was like, I see why daycares charge an extra, like a late fee.
By the minute, yeah. Like, baby, we still got to clean up this place and go home.
Yeah.
And you got your kid here, and they don't want to be here, and I don't want them here either.
But when you have kids, and I think it's weird with people who really do have kids, and you're not like paying attention to like your surroundings when you're with a child. It was like, I couldn't just go. Remember, you were like, you could take him to JJ's, but I didn't feel like safe taking him.
Well, I told you couldn't take him there. I
couldn't,
said,
but pick it up or something. I was like, well, I need to waste some time.
Pick it up, yeah.
Even when I took him to the place that I took him to, it was this little Chinese food restaurant. And, they had a little bar. And I was just like, I hope nobody gets ignorant. It was actually good. It was.
No, where was it?
It was. Don't give me the line. I think it was on Memorial. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it in that new little plaza?
It was in a plaza, and it had like these
Girl
red.
Diver?
No,
not Girl Diver.
But they didn't have fried chicken wings. They had little fried like Chinese chicken nuggets, and then I got some I got him like some noodles or something. I was like, it's 11 o'clock. It was well past your bedtime.
And he was just so happy to be up, right? Playing his games.
That baby was so happy.
That's how you do it on spring break. My night was not very fun. I have nothing to report there. I was tired. And then I feel like, my period started kind of, and I just feel like I always get so emotional and so irrational and somewhat delusional. It's like I need a handicap sticker for the week that I'm on my period, because I just turn into a person that I really don't like. And it's like, I know that I'm acting irrationally, but I can't control it.
Can you feel when it's coming?
Yes.
Me too.
Aside from the cramps, but I'm like, something will happen. I'm like, stuff is irritating me that shouldn't. So I just be trying to be quiet, and that doesn't always work. And then I was just crying. And then I was like, well, I can't have my eyes puffy. We got to record again.
You were crying today?
I was crying all day today. I was crying last night. It was just a crying day. But hopefully the Henny gets me back. No.
Okay, it was just a period day. I get it.
Just one of those irrational times. I didn't watch a sad movie. I might have tried to turn on a comedy. Or what I love to do is watch some YouTube highlight clips of the housewives of their phony
you really
moments.
Love the house. They need to let you host.
I know. That would be so much fun. Like, host a little something. If any of the housewives happen to be seeing this, or any of you know any of them, I would love to have almost anybody on the show. But just hit us up and we'll see who it is.
Please. Another thing I started doing was volunteering at the women's shelter.
Oh, I want to start doing that again.
Girl, it's just the days that I start my day doing it, it's a great, humbling way to start your day. Because again, bringing it back to kids, I'm working with the kids, but I was really sure to tell them, don't put me with no high school kids, because I can't deal with like problematic kids. They're as big as me, and I don't want to be on ATL Scoop. So I'm working with the babies, and the whole time I'm just thinking, like, these moms who are trying to get jobs, living in a shelter, are dropping their children off to a complete stranger. They don't know me. I mean, I know me, and I know that I love kids, and I'm going to Is it
like at a facility?
Mm-hmm. And they have like a little daycare facility at the top. So it was so funny because when I got there, they're like, are you the teacher? I was like, I don't think we should be calling me a teacher.
I'm
a volunteer, and I'm going to probably sing to your baby. I can teach him some baby sign language. I can read, and I'll feed him. But like I don't really know what I'm not teaching anyone anything. I just want to make this very clear. But it was just, I was like, dang, you gotta leave your baby with a whole stranger and a different stranger almost every day, because I don't go every day.
Yeah.
I'm going like weekly. So I was just like, dang, shout out to y'all for trying though, because
just trying not to let your circumstances get the best of you, and you just got to make shit shake sometimes. I used to volunteer up the street right over here at the Nicholas House. And if you guys don't know what the Nicholas House is, it's a pretty cool foundation here in Atlanta, and it's a transitional home. It's for homeless people, but
men and women.
and they keep the families together, because a lot of times what happens at these facilities is they split the families up, the women and children, and then children, you know, after a certain age, little boys can't be there, you know, and this place is a little different, and they have a lot of structure. So I used to go, I did have high school kids. I didn't like having the high school kids because, again, I was crying. Believe it or not, y'all, I be crying a lot. And I would just go home every day sad. Like, I liked being there, but the way that those kids felt so defeated, because they're very well aware of their circumstances. The little kids, not so much, but the older kids are. And just to see how some of them got a little hope and then some of them don't, is rough. I couldn't do it anymore because usually we're recording in the evenings. It was an evening thing, but it is a good organization. I'm glad to hear you doing that.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I had a thought, but maybe it'll come back to me. You said something about the women's shelter and the stuff. Oh, well, it'll come back to me. If nothing else, I guess we can move on to weird sex.
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury.
Like dessert. Yeah. A man is absolutely not a necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
Okay, you guys, I heard you loud and clear. You want to hear about some sex stuff?
The people spoke.
Okay, my bad. One of those cases was just so wild. I honestly totally forgot there was no sex in it. But oh well.
The one where he was eating the heart?
Yeah, I just totally forgot. But that was just such a wild story. And so many people sent it to me, and I was captivated. So I'm sorry. Now, for the next couple of weeks, I will be giving you, it ain't going to be no freak nasty stories. That's for the CockTales. I'm just going to do some accidents that happen in a sexual nature. Some of these people got some things lost in their bodies, broke some pieces during sexual acts.
I've been there before.
Or they took something that they shouldn't have taken and ended up in the ER. This is going to be that. So there's a doctor who did an interview with somebody, I don't know who, but she did an interview and she was talking about a lot of the crazy things that have happened in the ER and some of the wildest cases she's seen. And I've heard a lot of these stories. Some of these things, it surprises me how often they happen. So she said that many people don't bother to read the inserts before taking drugs, and or they'll ignore the small print on the ads. So like when they're talking about side effects or proper dosage or, you know, time, well, that's proper dosage, time between when you should take it. Y'all just buying them gas station pills. It's got the big ass rhino on there that looks like all he does is fuck, and you like, yes, I'm gonna get that. So a man showed up in the ER, and he had a severe case of priapism, that needed immediate attention. That's when they dig me hard for way too long. Like,
I wonder
way
if that
too
starts
long.
to hurt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because think about it, it's all that blood in there, and
Just
then it won't go
building up.
down. Yeah. Okay, so he arrived at the 4-hour mark, the point when you can start getting long-term tissue damage. And you know how much these men pride themselves on their little peepees, no matter how microscopic or gigantic, like that is their thing. So he got there during that time, and there was not a urologist on call. So she injected the man's penis with this drug that relieves congestion and pressure, but the erection was still there. So the doctor said she had no choice but to take an 18-gauge needle and aspirate the blood.
So she had to pull it out.
Yes, like put that... when they say 18 gauge, think about them people with the gauges in their ear.
In his
18
pee-pee
is
hole.
big. Yeah, he had to put it in because I'm sure he didn't want it to fall out, you know. She had to make a slight incision in this case because that is pretty big. Like, imagine her just jabbing that in there. Ooh. Okay, she said the worst case she'd ever seen involved another man who waited 24 hours before going to the ER. I can't imagine having my dick on hard. Well, I don't have one, but if I had one, I couldn't imagine having it on hard for 24 hours. That's ridiculous. He was embarrassed, and he told the triage nurse that it was just abdominal pain. You should have went a little further south with that description.
You got to be honest with these doctors.
Right, because
So
where are
they
you
can help
even
you.
going for? Right. She said that the things progressed so far, he was later given a penile implant to restore his sexual function. So he waited too long. If your dick is hard for too long, you know it's too long because you know your dick ain't never been that hard before. You need to see somebody.
I wonder if he went to the hospital by himself or did the girl who he was fucking come with him?
And that's assuming he was fucking a girl. He might have been by his damn self or with a man or who knows.
That is insane.
There's a time and place for, erectile dysfunction drugs. That's why and some people are popping them like candy. You've got to be careful. There's a lot of different things out there aside from the gas station pills. Even if you get a prescription, tell the doctor the truth. Don't be trying to come in there like a sexual warrior, lying to the doctor about your dysfunction when you really ain't got no dysfunction, and now you about to be dismembered. But, yeah.
I will never forget when I lied to the doctor at the Clark Atlanta University Clinic. I went to go get tested because my vagina had a stench. And I went and I was like, something is wrong. And he was like, how often are you having unprotected sex? And I lied. And he was like, you're lying. And I was like, his name was Dr. Hood. I don't know if he's dead, but rest in peace, because he was old, so he's probably dead. He was so rude to me, but he taught me a valuable lesson. He was like, I'm not going to be able to help you in your little dirty vagina. He was talking
His bedside
so
manner
out
was
of
horrible.
line.
I would have
like,
reported him to the board.
And I'm like 19. And he's
Yeah.
like, and if you keep lying, you might have something else. I'm not even going to be up. And I was just like, oh my God, he was right though. Like, you got to tell
You got to tell the truth. But he could have told you what you had, whether you was lying or not.
Right. You don't
He didn't have to do you like that.
Yeah, you smell it.
Okay,
I
we all
smell
smell it. Anyway, thanks for your feedback on weird sex. Maybe I'll continue listening, maybe I won't. But keep sending the stories in. If you see any freak accidents or crazy things that happen when people are trying to have sex or actually had sex, let me know. Send them to weirdsex@cocktailspod.com.
And if you've been involved in a weird sex.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Have you been
crazy.
involved in a weird sex?
No, I think one time I did almost break somebody's pee-pee. Because, okay.
Y'all was drunk.
Yeah, I'm sure I was. But I was riding his dick and I was trying to reposition my legs. So I had got up, but I got up too far and something gave out. And when I tried to sit back down on it, it hit that space between your pussy and your asshole. And it hurt me. Yeah, it hurt me really bad. And it hurt him. And he was damn near in tears. But we didn't have to go to the ER. The dick still worked.
You know
Thank
about my
God.
butt plug story.
Oh, yeah.
I was humiliated.
Yeah, I had a condom up in there one day. That was pretty gross.
I had that happen.
And then I was mad because I was like, now, why you didn't tell me that you lost a condom in here?
That happened to me, but I didn't even
That's
know it
why
was
you
in
don't
there.
need
The
the magnums.
gynecologist pulled it out and was like, we have a surprise. And I was like,
Thank God I pulled it out, because if anybody else would have pulled it out, I would have been so
I was
fucking
very
shamed.
embarrassed. And I was like, why would you not tell me that the condom came off?
Because I'm not inspecting that. I'm going to sleep. It's night time. I put in my best work. It's time to go.
Not
to
my
bed.
best work.
Yes. I was flipping hair, rolling around, making the noises, looking at you.
Don't you love when you know you have put on an amazing sexual performance?
Yes. I like when they start speaking almost in tongues, but they just sound like they don't even know a language. Just gibberish is coming out and they get stuck. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like when they run from me. Mm-hmm. It just makes me feel like Kiara, queen of the dragons. That's how I be feeling. Mm-hmm.
It's a great feeling, and it's
yeah,
I hope y'all are out there having great, mind-blowing sex.
I hope so, and if not, sorry for you.
Okay, Kiki. You know I've been trying to be a better adult.
It is so hard.
It's hard. There's so many things you have to remember, so many bills you have to pay, places you have to be. But one thing I really need to stop doing is wasting money, throwing money away, basically.
Yeah, I mean, have you tried Rocket Money?
What's that?
Rocket Money is a service. They have an app. You can access it on the web and everything. But Rocket Money basically looks through your bank account and looks at your subscriptions and different bills that you have, recurring bills. It'll give you warnings like, hey, you have a big bill due this week. So like slow down on your spending. Or, hey, I need to know, you're paying kind of high for your internet. They can contact your service provider and negotiate the rate. Then they'll also help you to remember that you have subscriptions. Because I don't know about you, but like iTunes, for example, or the App Store, I'll subscribe to stuff, forget about the apps. The apps aren't even on my phone anymore. But every day, Apple is charging me $2.99. It's going to remind you about those things and show you what you're paying for so that you can really get a grip on your money.
You know what? I need something like that because there are so many times when I get charged and I'm like, what is this? And then I get distracted doing something else and I'm like, but this has been happening for years.
Yeah, it really has. But you know what? You and all of our listeners are going to be able to try Rocket Money free for 30 days. That's enough time to try and completely forget about a subscription. You know, before you know it, you're paying for a subscription you don't use every single month like I've been doing. And with Rocket Money, you're going to sign up for it. And in 30 days, they're going to show you this is what you've been spending and this is how we can save you money. So Rocket Money, also formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. I've been actually using it for years, and I really like it. It reminds me of stuff, and even little things that I'll forget. Like, I'm really bad about my phone bill. It's not on auto pay, but I always pay it around the same time. So it'll say, hey, it's about time for you to pay this bill. It's just great. It helps me really have a good grasp on what I'm spending and helps me to stop overpaying for stuff because I was definitely doing that. Like having multiple subscriptions for the same thing. Just crazy things. They've negotiated my AT&T bill.
Oh my God, it sounds like the perfect boyfriend.
I know, and you don't have to call and talk to people necessarily. You can just communicate through the app. They'll even send you suggestions. It's so great. I love it.
I absolutely love that, and I'm definitely going to try it and use our little discount code. So you guys, y'all need to use it too. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/cocktails. That's rocketmoney.com/COCKTALES. rocketmoney.com/cocktails. Okay, you guys, this week we're going to talk about past relationship or dating traumas. This is a great thing to talk about.
It's all traumatic. This episode, I'm gonna see if I can make it look like the ER. We need like some triage lights up here, like a banner, some coats.
Yes.
I might need a straight jacket. Like,
yeah.
So many things have been traumatizing.
The more that I do therapy, things come up and you're learning about yourself and realizing that some things may have bothered you in past relationships more than you think when you start to like unpack stuff. And especially now since I'm trying to have like a healthy relationship, whether he ends up being my husband or not, I just want to make sure
Doesn't
that
matter.
I just want to make sure I'm the type of person where it's like, I want to cultivate healthy relationships. And in my past, it was funny because my therapist had asked me like, what do you think your healthiest romantic relationship was? And Kiki, I literally was like, I don't think I've had one.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I know I haven't.
Yeah. I was like, the one that I'm in now, like it's probably the healthiest, but it's also the newest. And so the one relationship that I was in where he didn't do me dirty, I was doing him dirty. It wasn't healthy at all. And there's like this guilt behind it, like doing somebody dirty that didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a little traumatizing because you're like, dang, you was just out here doing niggas dirty that had your back to the end. How could you do that?
Yeah.
So anyways, it made me think we've never talked about that with each other. Like, what are some things that have seriously traumatized you that men have done?
Things that they have done. Going through my phone.
Really?
And it's like
That traumatized you?
Yes, because first of all, he did it in the first guy, whoever did it. It's happened a few times. And now, I've gone through some phones, but I didn't say I was perfect or my actions are right.
Right. That's not what we saying.
I just be telling y'all what I be doing. I know I'm dead ass wrong half the time. But anyway, he went through my phone And then when he went through my phone, he looked at old text messages from somebody I was dating before. And I've always liked to be a sexter. There weren't any pictures or videos, but it was a very explicit conversation, right? And so he took my phone, locked himself in a bathroom, and went through all of the messages.
You didn't know he had it?
No, I'm just watching a movie. I thought he had a boo-boo because he was in there so long.
How did he get the password? Sneaky.
I don't know. I never thought about that. I guess he had just been over my shoulder watching. Sneaky little devil. Sneaky.
Was he
little
mad?
Yeah, oh, he was mad. And so he came out and he was like, this is the type of stuff that you like to do, blah, blah. And I was thinking, yeah, I mean, I would have done it with you too, but I see you're kind of boring, a little straight-laced, a little prude. And those messages are also, oh, like you knew that I dated this person. This is before I even knew you. And you're scrolling back into the beginning of time. Like, what? But I think it traumatized me because I realize how much people will look at something and they'll make their own story without knowing the full story. And then, I mean, that was pretty detailed, but he just went off in the deep end. And then it was
Were y'all
also
even
like
at that level?
for him to be going through my phone or concerned about who else I was fucking. No, not at all. And that was another thing. It's like these men really, not even just men, people really like to operate as if you're in a relationship when you're not. And it's like we haven't made that commitment. So why do you feel like you can go? And there was nothing going on at that time. Anyway, the way he made me feel so fucking dirty for the things that I was saying in the messages, that was traumatizing. And I think that for a long time after that, even though I still wanted to do what I wanted to do, I have always been skittish about somebody I actually like, letting them know how nasty I really like to get down. And like, because I like to do it and I really don't think it's anything wrong, but he just made me feel like it was wrong. And even though I still don't think it's wrong, I know that to this day, I'm not always open with certain people. If it's somebody that is just fucking, it's real easy to do that. I have no problems and we have all the nasty conversations we want. But when it's somebody that I like, I get nervous that when I really unleash the dragon, you're going to be like, you are disgusting.
That's a horrible feeling.
Yeah. So that's a big one for me. What's something that you can think of?
I put on here people, I put niggas, their lives being a lie.
How so?
Like, just in a way, which some of the stories that I've told on CockTales, we make it funny, but...
Because we can laugh about it now that we're talking about it, but in the moment, we crying.
Yeah, or you're just like, how did this... How did I get in this situation so many times? There was the Clarence Brown Jr., where his whole girlfriend pulled up to the place, and, like, she really was his girlfriend. And I was the side piece. I just didn't know it. And even with 6A Bay, that whole situation where it was like, he had that girl and I had, like, too trusting. Just way too trusting. It's
like you don't want to be the person who's constantly questioning somebody and not trusting them, but then you end up inadvertently giving too much trust to somebody who doesn't deserve it. And it's hard, even like, you know, people are always talking about red flags. Sometimes in hindsight you can see them, and then sometimes you still can't really see a bunch of them. And it's like people really be lying, and some people are great at it.
And sometimes with the red flag thing, it's interesting. Me and my sister were talking about red flags, and I think that everybody's gonna have red flags. I have red flags about myself, but I don't think all the red flags are like showstoppers.
Doesn't these drinks down,
right?
Especially Miss I don't like Hennessy.
I told you, you can't taste it. Then blueberries, but yeah, men just really lying about their whole relationship status, whether you have a wife or a girlfriend. It has caused me to be like, niggas are liars. Like, all of y'all be lying. And I know that's not the case. Every man is not out here hiding a wife or a girlfriend. Some of them are honest about it. But
we do have those. Thank y'all.
It makes me do this thing where, like, if I meet, like, and I even think some of it has to do with, like, the men lying, and then some of it has to do with the people that I have been around and watching how people cheat in such a really
watching
bad
how people
way.
cheat
Like,
is a good one.
Yeah,
I just get insight.
I have friends who have been sleeping with someone's husband, and you're like, the wife doesn't know it, and you're at the baby shower. And nobody
now,
knows.
wait a goddamn minute. Can we have some boundaries? It's like, okay, if you're going to do it, do it. But the baby
and
shower?
the friends know, and
everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
But baby mama or wife.
Except for this woman. That, like, there are girls here that your man is sleeping with. And the friends, they're like, you know, everybody has their inside jokes going on. Huh?
Do you know why they show up to these baby showers?
Because let's say, like, the person is like a really big celebrity and you don't get to see them a lot. So they're like, well, I have this one event here, but my family's going to be there, but you can come and you'll just be with the homeboys while we're doing what we have to do. Not necessarily a baby shower, but maybe it's like some sort of conference or like just something like that. And it has made me be like, when I need to know who everybody is. I'm talking to everybody in this room because who are you?
It's a scary world.
Isn't that scary?
Like, people say the streets are scary, but she's not in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Just her man is.
Yeah. I mean, situations where like people look up the house deeds and stuff like that, and you find out
I told you about that one.
That your nigga got a whole wife, or people saying that I had a friend where her boyfriend, who has a wife, and she didn't know it. He said that he worked in New York. He didn't work in New York. He lived in Georgia, not too far away, like maybe an hour away, and would say that when he was going home to his family, he was actually going to work. Yeah. And it's just like things like that, to go to that extent to lie to somebody. Like, I see how people be on Snapped, because that is crazy. I get upset and sad and have been depressed over moments like that in my life. And you're not my husband, and we don't have a family together. We don't share finances. We're not like that involved in each other's lives. It's just, that is crazy to me. It's mental illness. Why are you doing that?
You're a manipulator.
Yeah.
Greedy, possibly a sex addict. Amongst other things. Like, yeah, that's crazy. I remember I was talking to this guy and he was married. I didn't know he was married, and I did not find out until he literally died and his friend called to tell me. And in hindsight, the friend said something about his wife on the phone, but I never knew that he had a wife. Like, I talked to him the day he got married. And so I went to the funeral, and I didn't realize that's what he said. I think I was just so in shock that the man had died. Mm-hmm. And so I'm at the funeral, and I'm like, oh, you just got married. That is wild. Like, what were you... it just didn't make sense to me. Mm. And then even when I look back, it's not that I ever thought we were going to be together. It wasn't that type of situation, but it was fun. But it was also like, it's not like you was rolling around with me in secret and we were just always at each other's house.
We're out in the open.
We were always out. Yeah, and like at clubs, like popular places, not even little duck-off places, but places where we go places and we both know people and nobody's saying anything. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
And the crazy thing about that makes it traumatizing is, as someone who wants to be a married person one day, it makes me really dissect like married people. Like, why do you get married if you want to behave this way? And I've asked men this, and a lot of the times people have said they got married too young. Mm-hmm. A woman pressured them into getting married, whether it be because of a baby. Y'all been together for about 5 years, and she's like, what are we doing? I don't want to, I'm not going to be playing house with you. Like, we need to get married. And he really didn't want to get married, which makes me be like, do niggas really not want to get married? Like, I need to really make sure, if I ever get married, that this is actually what you want. And I'm talking about, I don't even like when people send me the Instagram videos where the man is like profusely crying at the end of the...
It could all be an act.
It can all be an act. And if you're nervous, why are you this nervous? I don't want you to be in this nervous.
I like when it's happy tears, but I also
crack
feel
some jokes, laugh, smile. I want this to be a happy day. If I have to force anything, the wedding is canceled.
And then also, to their reasons, like somebody pressuring them, having a baby, all of this stuff. Thank you. We need a little drink refill. Let's pass this on over. Where are these cute little cups from? I feel like I'm in a club. You can find me in the club. I don't know the words.
Shout out to your tipsy homegirl, Auntie. Thanks to y'all.
What was I going to say? I think that it's, honestly, it's weak as fuck to say that, and it's a cop-out, because it's a lot of other shit you don't really want to do, like keep your dick in your pants and be faithful to your wife, like you vowed to do, I'm assuming, at your wedding, but you don't do it. You married her. Some part of you wanted to do it, whether you didn't want to lose her or whatever, but it annoys me when people say that, and they may really feel that, and I get it, but it's also like, you still chose to do it. you realized that you were going to lose something that you wanted, but you were so selfish that you were unwilling to be honest with the person and let them know and just see where the pieces may lay. And instead, you're cheating, and if they find out, they're probably going to be hurt. And I just hate that for anyone, really.
I do.
One day, I think I would like to get married if I find somebody where, we're compatible in that way. I definitely don't want to pressure them. If you don't want to marry me, don't.
If you go out too much, this is another reason for my trauma. The men that are around our age, like, and you go out too much and you really be outside like that, you're not the husband for me, because I also look at some of my friends who have had marriages and divorces, and you talk about, like, I always ask them, like, did you ever see any signs, or like, how did y'all meet? Or they would talk about how they used to be, and everything that would come up would be surrounded around every time we would go out, he would take care of everything. That's not enough. That's not a good character trait. That doesn't have anything to do.
That's also what he's doing when you're not there, and that's how he's
and he never stopped doing it.
Yeah,
he's still doing it. Like,
no, I mean when she's not there.
Yeah, but even when you got married, he's taking other girls out now. That nigga has never been the catch for me. When people brag about that's what your man is doing, I don't like that, because I am traumatized by these street niggas. Why is you out here doing this all the time? And it's because you are either running from something, whether it be your wife, or you are just...
Or life
itself. Like, we're getting old. Like, you don't want to sit down sometimes. Going out every now and again, I do get. But, like, you the nigga in the section every week, the whole club knows you. You got a hookah. You gonna have cancer. Like, what are we doing? Like, you can't be my husband. I need a square.
I don't want no square. But, I mean, if I met one I liked him, I'll take it. But, no, I don't mind going out sometimes. But I don't want you to be a club rat. We're 50 years old. So, like, what? And then it's like, okay, I like going out still. I don't go out all the time, but when I do, I have a good time. And I know what I'm there for. So then it makes me wonder what you're here for. Like, especially if you're not going with the person you date. Who are you trying to get at? You can play your music loud at home. Smoke your hookah at home and drink. I'll bring the bottles out. I'll be a bottle girl and put on a little thongkini. And with the well, we're not going to do the sparklers. Fire alarm might go off. But I'll come out. Like, what is it that you're really searching for?
What
I don't know.
type
I think
of
that
relationship do you want? And I feel like what type of relationship do you want to cultivate? I feel like a lot of people don't have that conversation once you do start liking somebody. Like, do we want the same things? Not even talking about marriage, just like the type of people that we want to be. Because sometimes there might be some behaviors that need to change. I know that happened with me in my relationship. When we did that episode where we talked about, when I was like, I'm going to be single by summer, and I really almost was. And I was talking about how, like, people being in my DMs and, like, still trying, like, what is it?
Send you stuff.
And is it inappropriate? Well, he saw the clip.
I knew he would.
But it sparked a really good conversation, because it was like, let's talk about our behavior. And if you do want to be out here behaving like that, do you really want to be in a relationship? We both talked about it, because I was like, okay, well, if you go out with your friends, you're in a club, or if either one of us goes out, is dancing inappropriate when you're in a relationship?
What did y'all say?
I said yes and no. He said immediately yes. And I was like...
Immediately yes, that it's inappropriate.
That it's inappropriate. And if you're in a relationship, you don't need to be dancing on nobody.
Okay. I
said, I hear you. I do hear you. Because it is inappropriate, and the way that dancing is very sexual. But I said, we're still people. And so if dancing is cheating, I personally think that if you're in a serious relationship and want to be committed, is going out cheating? Should you even be...
What do you think?
I said, I think that the just, what is the word that I use? The environment of the club, it condones cheating. I don't see why. And this is weird, because I would have never said this a few years ago. But I do think that when people are in relationships, something needs to change, because you're out here in the club, most likely with your single friends. People are trying to holler at you. You might one day have to be somebody's a little sidekick, because they're talking to somebody, he has a friend, now you talking to him. You're not planning on giving your number, but maybe he says something, now you're like, okay, I am just going to go. I'm not married. I don't think that the club is the environment for people in relationships. Not that y'all not going to see me in the club, because you probably are, but I'll probably have my boyfriend with me, because it's just this weird, like, if I get caught doing this, is this wrong? And most likely it is. A nigga done bought me a drink. Is that okay?
Okay, so the dancing, I agree that I don't think you need to be dancing up on nobody, me or you. We don't need to be having, when Back That Ass comes out, you're on.
Lean against
Your
the wall.
homegirls need to surround you and just protect you and keep you in a safe little bubble. So, like the little bubble girl. So that ain't nobody touching up on you. Because people do get very touchy-feely and
you having
that's just
fun.
inappropriate. Yeah. Now, the going to the club, that doesn't bother me so much because I have been out to a club with guys who are married or in serious relationships. And I think sometimes they just still want to feel a little young. They have serious careers. They want to go out. They want to hear the music. They're looking, but ain't no touching. And they'll be my friend. So it's not like they scared that I'm going to tell or anything like that. And they're not flirting with me. They're not flirting with the girls. They'll let me bring my friends. Everybody knows what's going on, and it's fine. But I think it also depends. Excuse me. I'm going to have to drink some more Hennessy. It depends on the willpower of the person, too, because I also think that I don't want to put a bunch of rules on someone, and I know I don't like them, where it's like, I don't even want you to be around something where the what ifs could happen. I want you to be able to go in an environment that may be tempting and stand your ground. You would expect me to do it because sometimes you find yourself in these environments, whether you meant to go or not. Like, you can be invited somewhere and think it's one thing, and then you realize it's something else. If you know you can't handle no temptation, I shouldn't have to tell you, you can't go. You need to tell yourself, I got to go home. Like, I can't handle this. Or when someone is flirting with you, you need to have the willpower to say no. Because if you just you can keep a person or an animal, let's say, in a cage. They're not going to do shit because they in the cage. But the moment you let them free, they're going to do what they want to do. So I just don't want you to be caged because it's going to be like pent up and you want it. And I'm going to piss you off one day and you're going to go Tootsie Rolling at the club and fuck somebody. Whew.
Tootsie rolling. I used to love doing the Tootsie Roll.
Huh?
I used to love doing the Tootsie Roll.
I still do sometimes. Not out, but...
Yeah.
You know, just at the house sometimes when you hear an old song, cotton candy sweet as gold.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
I thought he said cotton candy sweets and rolls. Are you sure that's what he said? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see that Tootsie Roll. I was like,
Tootsie Roll.
That Tootsie Roll.
This ain't the butterfly, it's the Tootsie Roll.
Oh,
Grab them pants up.
You was fast because you really know them words. And I see you as a child lifting your pants up and
Well, my mama
dipping
used to
down
get the
low.
little mixtapes where it would have all the latest hip-hop jams on the CD, and we could listen to them because she would get the clean ones so we could listen. We would make dance routines.
I love that.
You know, I was always trying to be in a talent show. I don't know why I thought I was Paula Abdul and could direct something.
When I was a young tot, me and my childhood friend, Brittany Robinson, we used to make up dances and we would go around our neighborhood. We lived in these townhomes in Arlington, Texas, and we would knock on people's doors back when that was safe. And we would ask them if they would like to see a performance. They could donate if they wanted to, or they, could just come outside and watch. They would come outside on their front porch and watch us, and we would do you remember Scream by Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson? And we would do their little performance, and we would run to the back of the grass and slide on our knees and jump. We were little performers.
Did you have little bloody knees?
We would wear jeans, so they were just green and ripped. My mom was like, stop sliding on that damn grass.
I was getting in so much trouble. I'm like, what's the big deal? I saw the Tide commercial, and they say they can get it out. And she's like, this is not fucking real.
Stop sliding in the grass. But yeah, that trauma leads me to be like, dang, I'm not a rule person, but I am some of your behavior needs to change.
Yeah. And I think it just goes in respecting your partner. And then I think it's good to have the conversation about boundaries. And what I'm saying is what I think would work for me. But I think everybody has to be honest with themselves and what they're comfortable with. Because also, don't be letting shit slide that you really have an issue with.
I have that on here. And also, with the boundaries setting and rules, if your person has such a problem making those adjustments, for me, it's like, all right, I guess
you probably don't want to be in a relationship.
We're probably just not a match, and that's okay. Go out and if
I was
that's
having
what you
a conversation. Was it with you? Might have been with you, but I know I had it with a few people in the past, like 60 days. And I was like, sometimes I think people don't be wanting to listen, but this is really how I feel. Sometimes when I feel like you have to change so much about who you are and how you carry yourself, and it's upsetting you, and you're only making the change not because you feel like it's necessary or that you want to, because it's for another person. I think when it upsets you and it's not like an easy thing, this is not a match for you because what happens a lot of times is you end up resenting the other person because you were never really okay with making that change. And I think you have to speak up about it because maybe they think it's not a big deal. It's something that you do that they don't like and you should just easily change it. But maybe it is really important to you to be able to do certain things or hang out with certain people. Like I know some people don't like for their significant others. This goes for men and women. They don't like their significant others hanging around too many single people.
I'm starting to get that too.
Like you can't hang out with single people?
Not that either one of us has made that rule. We've just talked about it. And I see how it could cause an issue. The example I gave was, okay, your boyfriend goes on a guy's trip. Nobody else has girlfriends.
Immediately.
Nobody else has girlfriend. He's the only one with the girlfriend.
Y'all went to fucking
you
Colombia?
call him, he don't pick up the phone.
Oh yeah.
Now he picks up the phone, you hear girls in the background. Who them bitches with y'all? Well, Brandon.
And how much did she pay them?
Yeah, Brandon brought some girls and she brought her friends. Fuck Brandon.
You need to go to your room.
You need to go to your room. Why didn't I get invited?
Right.
Now we
if we can have the girls over, I want to go see Colombia.
Yeah.
I want to see Ecuador, DR, wherever the fuck you
I'll
at.
be good.
Puerto
I'll
Rico.
be friends with the hoes.
Well, maybe.
But
Them
yeah,
drunkards
now
start
we
spilling
looking
tea.
at Brandon like, I don't want you being with all these single niggas because you gonna be tempted one day.
I think it depends on the type of people because I do have some single friends and some not so single friends who are like all about getting all the men, right? For everybody, them included.
Now you sit in the corner talking to
And
Terrence.
it's like, okay, but then it's like, if you are not a cheater and you want to stay by your man, come out with me, girl, because I want everybody for me anyway. And it's going to work out fine and be like, don't touch her. She is off limits. I'm protecting her, but I'm available.
Kiki will do that.
Yeah, like, because I get it. And I know that, like, typically I'm the single friend, and I know some people's boyfriends be a little nervous when they go out with me, but don't worry, I'm greedy. So that person is going to be safe. I'm going to keep an eye out, and it'll all be good. You know?
You're the poster child for single friends. Like, you're not the single friend that niggas need to beware of their girl hanging out of.
Yeah.
I won't say who is. But
I have an idea. You put down here, do you think that you're a good teammate?
in a relationship.
I think that I am, as long as the other person is a vocal person.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be a good teammate with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone who is really forthcoming with their feelings, and not because I'm saying everybody is that way. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need a partner, a teammate who is going to be that way, because it's going to put me at ease. And I think, in the past, there were times when I was more forthcoming and something happened and I didn't like it. And it's like I'm holding on to that feeling of how it felt when I was forthcoming and how things went afterwards. And so it makes me shy. And so, it is hard when people have blocks about certain things, because you do have to work through them. But I think if you like a person and like that's the issue, that's something I feel like you could work through. Unless you're just not patient, then yeah, leave me alone. 'Cause I need a patient, communicative, confident man to be a good match for me, because I'm also not about to be building you up every damn day with like you need like a literal pep talk from the ground up. I can do a little something, but like, God damn, bitch, when you gonna give me some compliments? I be needing a little self-esteem boost sometimes. Like, shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I am not your mother.
I hope y'all are out here being good teammates in your relationships, because that is essentially
Or break
what
up with
y'all
them.
are.
Because if you're not, and it's you and you fucking up, let that man go or let that woman go before she ends up a scorned rose
They
bush.
not gonna do that.
Yeah.
They is not gonna let nobody go, because people is not trying to really see themselves.
That's so tragic.
Do you think that if you're friends with someone who doesn't like your significant other, the friendship has to be over?
No, I think it only has to be over if that friend disrespects my partner and disrespects our relationship. Like, I can accept if I'm dating somebody and you don't like them, but when you constantly cross boundaries that I've set with you about things that you say or how you act, or you're rude when he comes around, or, any of those things, that would make me wonder, do I need to cut this friendship off? I think that somebody cannot like them, but as long as they can keep it cute and put it on mute when the person is around, okay, cool. Because I also don't think that you should cut off a person because they don't like your significant other, because who you gonna call as soon as it don't work out, if it doesn't work out?
But what if it does work out and you guys are getting married and she doesn't like who's about to be your soon-to-be husband, and he knows it, and he knows it?
But is she disrespectful? I don't think you have to like everybody in anyone's life. And I think that it's unfair to think that. But the issue for me would be, can you still respect a person? I can give somebody respect who I do not like. And I know you just don't say certain things, or just shut up, because at the end of the day, it's also not my life. And if you are someone's friend, you want that friend to be happy. And unless he going upside your head or something, if it's something I disagree with, I can talk to you about it in private and say my piece. If I even feel it necessary, probably you would have to ask, because I do feel like that can cross a boundary. I wouldn't like it if somebody did it to me, so I try not to do it too much. But if my friend is not being rude to him, being disrespectful to him, talking shit about him, we can maintain a friendship. It's just going to have to be separate.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think that my romantic relationship should dictate my friendships. I don't. But then I do see how, if this person is going to be my husband and you have told me you don't like him, he knows you don't like him, there's going to be a strain on the friendship, because naturally...
Why do you think that?
Because let's say we're starting a family together. Marriage is starting a family. It's just going to make it difficult. You're coming around. It's not going to be like this natural flow of us just having a good time because you don't like my nigga. And I think that naturally in our adult years, it's almost like you start picking sides. And so it's like, if this is someone who I'm going to start...
You, the person in the middle.
It's like, if this is somebody who, like, we're not kids. So it's like, you don't like him. If there's a way we can mend the relationship, y'all don't need a relationship to start.
Between your friend and your man.
Not that y'all even need a relationship, but if you don't like him, I would like us to try to fix why you don't like him. Because if I start a family with somebody and you talking about you don't like my husband, I'm not sure I can have that around. Again, I think that creates a...
But what are they doing? Like, because that's the part that, I can understand somebody not liking somebody, but are they acting away when the person is around? Are they not, they can't be cordial, they can't be polite? Because I feel like you can have, like, a casual conversation with somebody and not necessarily like them, but you don't have to be rude or disrespectful.
I don't know.
Or does the person not do that?
This isn't happening to me, but it was, because this type of stuff don't be happening to me. I don't see the point in... Y'all don't need to cultivate a relationship anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, how do we get to a point where
you don't have to be friends with him?
Yeah. You don't really need to, like, speak up and stuff, but it's just like maybe they don't...
From a caring place, and that's it.
Maybe we're all around each other a lot and they just don't speak to the person. To me, that's not okay. That's like, if you don't
I feel like you should speak. And if it gets to that I can understand causing an issue if you are married. Or just serious with the person. I can see that causing an issue. Like, why can't you speak?
Why can't you speak? Now y'all got me in the middle.
It costs nothing.
He talking about you. You talking about him. I'm picking my nigga. So.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised by that. My man.
Before we move on to Indecisive Diane, what are some of your positive dating traits?
I think some of my positive dating traits are that I'm really understanding. And if I am a person where you can talk to me about anything. I think that I'm super supportive. I show up for people. I support whatever they have going on. I try to support them emotionally as well. Like, that's just really important to me. I think that's, to me, even if you got to juggle stuff, like showing up for somebody, physically being there for somebody, letting somebody that you care in that way is important. I also think that... I said I was understanding. I think that's a big thing, because sometimes, there's so many different factors that goes into who we become as adults. And we can be different and see the world differently. But when you don't have any understanding and you just expect everybody to have, like, the same views on the future and life as you and come from the same place, that's just unrealistic. I also think that I'm really good at loving. I'm not always the most affectionate, but really loving somebody and caring for them, and even being able to look out for them when we may not be getting along and stuff like that. When it's hard times, I think that I'm good at that. And it's not something where it's like I even need the person to know, but I know that that's how I move. I do it with my friends and I do it in romantic situationships. What do you think some of your good qualities are?
I think I'm really good at introducing people, friends, and romantic interests. We're talking about dating. Introducing you to different things, like new
experiences,
whole new experiences. Like I think I provide a lot of an outlet for fun and being who you are as a person. You can let loose around me. It's not like you need to be around being this strong man all the time. Let a nigga run up. But I'm really in tune with my child, and my inner child. And I let that live in all of my relationships I've had. And it makes life fun. I feel like a lot of times people forget to let's have fun in this. I think that another positive trait is family. I'm a super family oriented person. And I think that those are great traits for people to, when you're dating people, if people are like, I don't like my family, or I can't mesh well with people like that because I don't understand that. I get everybody has their own story, but you just wouldn't be the person for me. And so helping you create better relationships with your family, I've noticed I've done that with people because that's a part of my life. So it's like, if you're with me, you're seeing how often I talk to my sister, my mom, my dad, my brother, my nieces, my nephews throughout the day. Or even if it's just like, hey, invite your parents to come do this with us. We're going on a date. Let's do a double date with your parents.
You're the poster child for double dates.
I love double dates.
I know it.
With anybody. We can do it with grandparents, friends, like anybody. I love it.
Pets. Whoever. Just come on. A stranger at a community table, the park. We're on a double date now. Let's play I'm Curious to Know.
I'm very... I like to think that I'm a fair person. I'm not the I'm always right person, and I'm a great listener, and like you said, loving. Like I feel like I'm a very loving person, even when we're not seeing eye to eye. I'm not turning my back on you. And so, yeah, I think take the negatives with the positive, and hopefully this helps somebody who's out there dating or in a relationship.
Good luck, Chuck.
All right, y'all, we're going to move on to Indecisive Diane. And when we come back, we have some advice letters for you.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey ladies, it's me, Diane, and this week the date is a little creative and a little bit more sexual than normal. So do this with someone that you want to create a great relationship with, have great sex with, or want to try new things with sexually. Erotic journaling, our good friend Tayomi told us about that. Listen, buy a journal with your bae, write your most deepest, darkest fantasies, or even things that you like that they do or want to try. Bye!
Okay, and we are back from Indecisive Diane, and it's time for the advice. If you have a question that you would like to ask us on the show, please email us, advice@cocktailspod.com.
Okay, so this is actually an update letter from the March 2nd episode. I remember this young lady. She
think my wig too tight. Hold on.
You got that little band in the back.
Yes, and some extra shit. Oh, Jesus. That's why I keep tugging at it. All right.
So she had sent us an email a while back, and she was going through some issues with her boyfriend, and it seemed like she was saying he wanted to marry her. He went through the phone. Remember, she went through the phone, and they saw that he was going to propose.
Oh,
you
yes.
But he wasn't acting right. Like, some stuff had just happened, and we were like, he don't want to marry you, girl.
The phones. Okay.
So she says, hey, Kiki and Medinah, I want to first thank you for the advice that you gave me when I wrote in about my boyfriend who said he wanted to marry me but wasn't emotionally attentive, didn't compliment me but constantly sent selfies of himself, didn't say I love you, etc. I'll be honest in saying
selfies.
them selfies will get you niggas in trouble. I hate a nigga selfie. I'll be honest in saying that I didn't immediately break up with him like I should have. And like you two had suggested, I tried to give him one more chance. And as you probably already guessed, he showed his ass once again. He suggested taking me on a trip for my birthday and planned a week-long getaway. So I went along thinking maybe this was what we needed. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. We argued on and off the entire time, and the trip ended with him telling me that he didn't want to marry me anymore. He said this on the night of my birthday, and on our last day of vacation, he practically told me that he didn't want to spend the remainder of the day with me and suggested we go our separate ways and I should find my own way to the airport, and then he left.
Damn.
For me, that was the last straw. Of course, he contacted me 3 days later, apologizing and saying I was the love of his life and he didn't know why he acts like that when he's upset, and said he was committed to figuring it out so he could be better for me. You need to be better for yourself. I kindly declined the offer to get back together because I don't want to be with someone who treats me poorly. He said, okay, and that was the end of the discussion. This was last night when we had that conversation. And I wake up today and I'm blocked on everything, even his business page and TikTok.
He got a new girl.
Anyways, I felt like I should update y'all and thank you two again for your words of advice. I also want to send a huge thanks to the CockTales community who also offered great advice in the comments. Keep up the amazing work, ladies. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm glad that you left him and you're going to find something way better, girl. Just make sure you are taking notes and paying attention so you don't end up in the same situation.
Yes. Okay, next one. He's fucking a white girl and me. Now,
what race got to do with it?
We about to find out. She typed this in that courier font like she's on a fucking typewriter. Yeah. Okay, hey ladies, congrats on all of your success and continue to inspire. Make us laugh and keep serving these looks. We got you, girl. I'll get right into it. Sorry for the long advice letter. So I met this guy in late 21. We hit it off, and within 3 months, we were fucking. Oh, no, that's right. Everything was going great until late 22 when he decided to be friends with me due to his sister being an alcoholic. What? Okay, his sister being an alcoholic and having to take care of her. Well, here's where things get rocky, and I was okay with being just friends because I realized that after a year of dating, I loved him. It's been since 2017 since I felt this way about a male species. He does know that. He does know I love him, by the way. Fast forward to the problem. Since the new year, we have been nonstop flirting with each other. When he comes over, we are cuddling, he sleeps over, etc. Last time he came to my house, I didn't want to have sex because I did not know where we stood as friends or are we back to dating. Next time he comes over, aka today, we were cuddling naked and he went to brush his teeth and he told me to pick out the breakfast I wanted from Toasted Yolk. Well, he has an Android. So if you swipe up and left too fast, it goes to another app. Well, his messages just so happen to pop up. So I look at the names who I know, but one comes up that I do not know. Let's call her like she is, white girl. I scroll through the messages dating back to February 2nd. While this man has been dating her, sexting her, I see pictures of her white ass, say he wants to eat her bologna coochie, all that. Damn. Y'all, this man told me he would never be with a white girl, doesn't like white girls like that, etc. But yet he's fucking a white girl. Well, he said he didn't like them like that. That's what that means. Her race is not why I'm even upset. Are you sure? It's the fact that he lied to me, which leads me to believe what else has he lied about? His sister, anything he's told me. And on top of that, you have been fucking her while telling me you miss me, you want to have sex, etc. And on top of that, I asked him about a week ago if he was dating anyone, and his lying ass said no. Well, is he dating her or fucking her? Because those are different. Here's where I need help. Should I kick his ass to the curb for lying or just play and start building up my team like the old Medinah Monroe? For now, the food just got here, so I'm about to get this free meal. He's still there and you sending this. I mean, here's what I think. One, again, stop going through people's phone. Two,
that was an accident.
It was an accident, but she got to the messages on accident, but then she kept scrolling. That was not an accident.
I would have did it too.
And I think you are upset that she's white. And you should just be honest with yourself, because if it wasn't about that, you wouldn't have even put it in there. Like, does it make it worse because she's a white girl? I guess she said it's because he said he didn't like white girls like that. Maybe he just feels like he'll fuck them but never be in a relationship. And I think you can also go on dates, fuck somebody. It don't mean that you're dating them. Because sometimes you are just fucking and you like to eat with your fuck buddy. That's just the reality. He might think of dating as, I'm dating somebody because I see that there's a possibility. Either way, he ain't gonna tell you about all the other girls anyway, so I don't know why you wasted your time. And I think that, I don't know, I kind of think you should ask him, you need to ask him more specifically about the sex part, because I think that bothers you. And then 2, have you never been fucking somebody and missed somebody else? Or is it just me? Because I have, and I just feel like just because he's doing these things with this person doesn't mean that everything he said to you is invalid, but he still be lying. So what you gonna do?
I think it's a few things here. He's not your boyfriend. So that makes things, you're already in like a gray area with him.
Yeah.
But I also think if you want to try to get to the bottom of it, he does seem like a grade A liar. But what you could do, what I've always done when I find something out like this and like the person's lying and acting like you're not dealing with nobody else, you can act like you care about sexual health and say, you are you using a condom? Like you can have that conversation to see if he's going to be honest about like what exactly is going on here. Because, we're sleeping together, we're cuddling naked, you were spending a lot of time in my house. I don't think...
She hadn't even started fucking him yet.
Oh.
They was just cuddling naked.
Well...
But you could still do the sexual health because you could get the herp.
You could. And so you can mask it like that. I don't know if you care, but you could still just mask it like that because that makes everybody kind of just be like, oh, okay, this is a serious conversation. So that is honestly what I would do. Or you can just be an adult and say what happened and ask him about it and say, listen, what are we doing? There's nothing wrong with being the what are we doing girl if you care. To me, it doesn't seem like you're going to tap into your inner Medinah Monroe, because I can't do this with people I care about. If I don't care and it really is just like I like spending time with you and that's it, then I don't need to ever bring it up. But if I know that if we keep doing this, my feelings are going to get hurt, I have to say something, because now you're going to come around, I'm going to have an attitude. I'm going to be acting funny. I got to say something. I saw something. I feel really uncomfortable about it. Can we talk about it? And see how he handles that, because he might handle it like a lame-ass nigga. You also don't want that. Talk to me and be honest. There have been times when I bring this up to men and they're like, I'm sleeping with 5 girls and we're not using condoms. And they're just flat out honest. You found it. You found out this is what's going on. That's the only way. I think you're going to be mad. I think this is going to end.
Yeah, I think it's going to end too.
Yeah.
I don't think y'all are on the same page, especially because he put you in the friend zone. Yeah. And who cares if he's lying about that alcoholic sister? Ask him if you can come with him to help alcoholic sister. And you're going to make sure she's just drinking water and it ain't no vodka in the water bottle. Like, what's going on? Why is she a secret? What's she doing?
Find alcoholic sister on Instagram. There have been plenty of times when somebody tells you something, I find them on Instagram and start, I'm their friend now. Let me get to the bottom of this myself.
Okay, pull out your inner investigator. Good luck, Chuck. We're gonna move on to the cocktails, and yeah, I guess that's the last part of the show.
But if you ain't got a buck, I won't cover. Spend 100 on me, it ain't nothing. Run a double D, so stuffing. Back to the point. Is it some cash in this place? If it is, I'll probably stick the stats in your face, turn around. Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe, was a hoe, was a hoe.
Oh, you got a cocktail?
Okay, this cocktail says, hey, Kiki and Medinah. I just want to start off by saying that you are both so wild, so hilarious, and so full of positive energy in your awesome Cocktails Dirty Discussions podcast. How old are you? She put the whole thing. I've absolutely loved your content so far, and I've actually found some of it very educational, too.
Oh.
I really love the guests you have on. She is so nice. I really
girl.
love the guests that you have on as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to make it and share. Thank you. I hope you're a patron.
So welcome.
Yeah, that's nice. I had to write to you with the story of mine after listening to some of your listeners' emails. I love it that you provide a platform where women can be so open and share our experiences with you. I've not laughed so much in such a long time at some of the things you both talked about. My story is awkward one.
Where's the story?
My story is an awkward one about how I and some other women at work got our own back on someone who slid into my DMs. Oh, this is the one who sent the dick pic. With an unsolicited dick pic. Did you see it? I didn't delete it. And I thought it would be fun to share it with you both. It also shows just what can go wrong if these pics are sent out, especially when they are unsolicited. I really hope that it provides some entertainment for you both in return. So on with my story. A guy I used to work with used to always brag about having a huge penis. He always looked for an opportunity to talk about how big he was and how so many women were after him because of it. He once said that he had a 10-incher. I'm sure you see it. I'm sure you've come across someone like this at some stage. This all changed, however, when he sent me a dick pic. His pic was a close-up of his penis with a ruler right next to it, so I could see exactly how long it was when it was fully erect. I don't know what he was thinking, but it wasn't anything to boast about. It only looked to be just over 5.5 inches.
Yeah, it's about 5 3/4.
I feel like I was almost cat-dicked. He then sent me a message around 15 minutes later begging me not to show it to anyone else. Meanwhile, you done sent it to the whole podcast.
Okay.
And saying that he was so sorry, but I'd already sent it to every single one of my female friends by that point. What woman wouldn't have if only to warn them all about him? It was no accident that he sent it to me, as I found out that he'd also sent it to someone else with the same apology to her about 15 minutes later. I think that some of them needed a really good laugh, and they sure as hell got one. From then on, we kept making jokes at work by measuring various items in the office with a ruler and saying things like, damn, the thing's smaller than I expected. That thing's smaller than I expected. It doesn't even measure 6 inches, followed by lots of laughter. It was so funny watching him go as red as a beetroot, even though we weren't even talking about his junk. That is bold. At work, they really do need to understand that if they send unsolicited dick pics, then it's open season for us to send to all of our girlfriends to point and laugh at all as we criticize and judge. Okay, if a man did this, it would be World War III. Telling them that it's small seems to work really well in getting them to stop. The dick pic guy left 2 weeks later, probably through embarrassment. Our boss didn't understand what was going on until after he left. Afterwards, we told her, and she had a really good laugh. Where y'all work at? Where is HR? She had a really good laugh and said that it served him right. How could we carry on working normally after going through that? This is now the reason that I consider an erect penis 6 inches or less to be small. Do they expect us to react to their unsolicited dick pic with a message of, ooh, that's such a nice penis? Is that all for me? Wow, I feel so lucky now. It's so big and such a turn on. Before we magically jump through their screens desperate for sex and then jump on top of them, surely they must know by now that this approach does not work and we are much more likely to show their pics to friends and have a good laugh at them. I'd love for you to provide advice on how we are supposed to react to... It's not advice later. That was just a cocktail. Thank you so much again, Kiki and Medinah, for your wonderful podcast and for the laughs that they have given me. And I hope that my story gives you both a good laugh or a smile. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, that shit was small, and he should not be sending that out, honey. That's not what you share unless you are madly in love, and you already gave her the ring. All right, this one says, cocktail from anonymous lover. Never have I ever. Hey, y'all. I just want to start by simply thanking you. This is a safe space that y'all have created for your listeners. It is one of a kind. Because of your podcast, I'm living in my truth and exploring myself in ways I could have only imagined. So again, thank you. I love you both. Now on to this juicy cocktail. I'm a 30-year-old single woman from Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been dabbling in the dating world, and in doing so, I met this amazing man in his late 30s. The chemistry and connection was solidified instantly from the moment we met. The sex between us has always been enjoyable and so passionate, and it gets better with each encounter. Recently, we planned to spend a night together to have a little fun, and from the moment this man walked into my apartment, I knew it was on, but I was not prepared for the night we had because we fucked all night until the early morning. Here's a peek into one of the passionate rounds we had. At one point in the night, we headed into the kitchen to take a break and get some water. As I'm standing by the fridge, he walks up behind me and starts to gently kiss my neck. I moan. I'm getting turned on all over again, so I decide to head back to the bedroom. Before I can make it there, he grabs my waist, turns me around, picks me up, and places my naked ass on the kitchen island. He slid my decorative centerpiece over and laid my body down because I was about to be his full course meal, baby. This man began to devour my pussy, licking, sucking, nibbling. His beard is dripping in my juices at this point, and I am loving this erotic view. He's teasing me, kissing my inner thighs, working his way to my ankles and back down until he's face to face with my wet, dripping oasis. This time, as he's eating my pussy, he starts fingering me, and it feels so good. He then proceeds to add another finger in my ass, and waves of pleasure begin to come over my body. I'm moaning, yes, daddy. That feels so good. Yes. He then stops eating my pussy and focuses on fingering me. My body begins to quiver and my legs are shaking. He's staring into my eyes and I'm begging for more and more. Daddy, please. Ooh, I love this. Now, I have to admit, never have I ever been able to have an orgasm from vaginal penetration or from oral sex. I've only experienced clitoral orgasms when masturbating. However, the one thing I do experience and get extreme pleasure from is squirting. Funny thing is, he is the only man I've ever been able to experience this with, and it is powerful.
It is. Oof.
Suddenly, I feel this immense amount of pressure building up between my thighs. As he continues to pleasure me with his fingers, my body shakes, and I suddenly crash into a million pieces. I begin to squirt everywhere. He holds my waist with one hand as he continues to finger me with the other. He stares into my eyes and says, "Let that shit out, baby.
Ooh,
let it all out for daddy.
like him.
I love it when you squirt for me." Me too.
I love you.
I began to moan loudly. Immediately, the floodgates open and I start squirting even more. It feels so good that a bitch even squirted out of her ass. Now, wait.
That sounds like dookie juice now. What's
Yeah,
coming out your booty
what
hole?
is- 'cause
But
that's-
I get it. It's happening to me.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Yes, you heard me correctly. I squirted out my ass. Never have I ever experienced this. It's giving diarrhea, but we're going to keep going. My body is convulsing in pleasure at this point, and I am exhausted. But Daddy is trying to drain my pussy juices at this point. I begged him to give me a break, but he says, "Nah, baby, not until you squirt on Daddy again." My pussy happily obliged, and again, I'm squirting all over the place. I squirted so much that we could hear the drops falling from my kitchen island onto my hardwood floors. Never have I ever squirted so much. I forgot they was in the kitchen.
I didn't. I was like, the cleanup's going to be easy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, after my final release, he lets me go and steps back to admire the mess we just made. Damn, baby, we made a puddle. I laid there with the biggest grin of pure bliss on my face, still in disbelief of what just happened. After catching my breath and coming back down from cloud 9, he picks me up and off the countertop. We wash off and slid back to the bedroom to cuddle under the sheets and rest before the next round that would surely come. And did. Laughing my ass off. I got my ass bent up like a pretzel all night and I loved it. Thanks for reading. I hope you enjoyed Anonymous Lover. That was a good one.
That was a very good one.
Y'all had some good
written.
cocktails this week.
Those
Thank
were
y'all
very good cocktails.
so much.
Thank you guys. Before we close out, if you guys want to come to Bali, it's not too late to sign up. If you can't, then come to Tulum with me. Go to paradiseandvibe.com. We're going to Tulum October 6th through 10th. The theme is orgasmic breath work. Please book now. It's going to be a hell of a time.
Yes, and please head on over to classybased.com to purchase my cookbook. It's KLASSYBASTE.com to purchase a cookbook. I have digital recipes, a digital cookbook, individual digital recipes, and then you can purchase a physical copy if you prefer that. And also, don't forget to sign up for my book club. We're constantly accepting new members. We do a mid-month, so you just missed it, but we do a mid-month happy hour where we all just get together and chit-chat, talk about life, get to know each other better, and then at the end of the month, we read a book. This month, we're reading The Perfect Marriage. I forget who it's by, but if you go to patreon.com/Kiki said so, it's available there. And in June, we are going to do an in-person meetup. So if you have been looking for a way to meet new friends, this is a great way. The members are all over the place, but our first meetup is going to be in June. So I look forward to meeting you guys. Join and make sure you're following us on Instagram. We are at CockTales Podcast. I'm at Kiki Said So.
I'm at Coffee Bean Dean.
And until next week, you guys, goodbye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Wait on the drive. Bye. 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 Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Wait on the track. Wait on the track. I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Wait on the track. Bye. 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 Bye.